Hello and welcome to today's video. So this time we're going to be taking a look through my collection of book pickups from Hay-on-Wye. So as you probably seen on the channel, myself and the Outlaw Bookseller Steve went up to Hay-on-Wye 3 weeks ago, and we went through a few of the better bookshops there, and I picked up a nice little batch of stuff which I'm going to be cleaning now. I've also had a few little bits and pieces through the post as well, so quite a selection of stuff to have a look at this time round. So without further ado, sit back, relax, and let's get to it. Today's video is sponsored by Foul Blood, the book and graphic novel from Kevin Given, available from Amazon now, with links to both in the description below. If you're in the mood for a tense vampire crime thriller, this one's for you. Thanks once again for sponsoring today's video.
Getting the urge again.
I'm so over this.
Dead bodies are showing up behind the cross-dressing club. First impressions. Decapitated and drained of blood. Is there a vampire loose in Boston? David Reynolds, a serial killer that Detective Carl Vincent arrested years ago, has escaped. Is he behind the murders? The second victim was Paul Sweetheart Sachatella, a mobster with ties to club owner Leo the Freezer Kowalski. Is Leo involved? Foul Blood is an intense thriller, a noir horror mashup that will leave you on the edge of your seat. In the tradition of Edgar Allan Poe, Dashiell Hammett, Stephen King, and Mickey Spillane comes an exciting tale of murder and revenge. Available on Amazon from author Kevin Given.
Okay, so we'll start off with this one. Now, I don't really remember now where I got all these books from, but they'll probably have the bookseller's sort of stamp or sticker inside anyway. In fact, this one is Richard Booth's 275, so I'm hoping that's just going to... Look at that. That's nice and easy, isn't it? This one's absolute mint, really. It's unread, isn't it? New English Library. These were the numbering continues from the original 4 square books. This one looks really interesting. Yeah, James Moffat. Look at that, the skeleton coming out of the submarine there. Good stuff. So yeah, these are all in they'll be in a bit of an order, but we'll just do them as we come to them. This is another one from Richard Booth. And I picked up a few of these at that shop. And the New Writings in SF, I've had loads through my hands over the years, but I never thought to collect them. And I'd like to pick up quite a nice set if I could. And they're very much of their time. It started in the sort of early-ish 60s and went through into the early 80s. And there's 30 in this series to pick up. I don't think any of them are that difficult to get hold of these days. I notice this one's got a little bit of pencil right in the most awkward place imaginable, right in the bottom of the cover there. So you may notice this week's video is sponsored. I've not read the book Foul Blood by Kevin, but he did send me a copy of the graphic novel, which I did read whilst I was on holiday. It's really good, so if you do get the chance to check it out, please do so. Here's another 4 square SF title. Actually, boldly says there, 4 square science fiction, Ward Moore. Absolutely beautiful jacket, that one. Bring the Jubilee. And now this was £1.50, but it's got a sticker on the back. So I'm hoping that this comes off fairly easily. The trick with stickers is basically to be a bit patient. So just tease it off, don't go crazy initially. Try and have a decent thumbnail to hand. And then slowly but surely it should just pop off. There we are. Yeah, only £1.50 this. To be honest, there was so much in Richard Booth's to go through. There really, really was. It was very, very impressive. And the prices were excellent. And that is what it's all about. If you're a paperback collector, well, I mean, one of the reasons I got into collecting paperbacks in general was because it was always like the poor man's first edition. So if you couldn't really afford hardbacks, but you liked to collect a lot of books, which I do, paperbacks was always like the way to go, you know. And that's why I've always sort of been into them, really. Plus a lot of stuff that I like never got hardbacked anyway, you know. But there we are. That's okay. It's got a 1-3 in the front as well. But overall, a really nice supple copy. Now, some of the books I picked up at Hay were definitely quite ropey, but they're rare, and I may not be able to do much with them in regard to repairing them, but I'll certainly clean them as best I can. That was quite a hard 103. In quite firmly there, but there we are. I think that's done the trick. I think I'm going to pull the camera out. It's not giving us a lot of room to work here. Here we are. So the first of quite a few penguins this time around. Another one in the Penguin science fiction line, which I am very much trying to get. I don't think I need that many now, but this is one of the ones I definitely didn't have. And there's a really nice one we'll see a little bit later on, which I did pay £7 for, which is quite a bit for a 60s penguin, but it was in nice condition. And one I've never even clapped eyes on before, to be honest. So at least these stickers do peel off okay. That's the main thing. So they have 3 to conquer. A few books I picked up were upgrades to the ones in my collection already. Just a couple, but most of them were new. There's another Penguin science fiction one, Frederick Poole. Never read this one, Drunkard's Walk. This is £2, which I didn't think was too bad at all. So I really did enjoy my trip to Hay-on-Wye with Steve. Steve was just getting over COVID, so he wasn't, you know, it was quite a tiring old trip for him. And I'd done a fair bit of driving just to get up to where Steve lives and then on again to Hay. So I was fairly tired as well, but you've got that adrenaline when you're on the thrill of the hunt. You never know quite what you're going to find. And even if you're tired, it sort of keeps you going, doesn't it? And overall, you know, my first visit to Hay, it was very impressive. I really did enjoy it. Certainly some shops were better than others, and we didn't get a chance to go through everything. So, you know, on the map of Hay, which I have actually got here, so we'll have a look at it in a minute, it does say, you know, there are, you know, over 20 bookshops to go through, but that's not strictly true, because, like, one of them's like a wholesaler's, which you're not allowed in unless you're in the book trade. I suppose Steve could have blagged it. And other ones are just, you know, not of interest to us. So, you know, but there was other stuff, other shops, especially a couple which I really did want to go in on reflection. But we'll save that for next time. It's a reason to go back again, isn't it? But I think I'll allow a little bit more time to go through Richard Booth's, because that ultimately was the place I found most stuff at the best sort of prices. And I think with a bit more time, there was definitely even more to be found there, particularly sort of in the crime and general fiction. I did meticulously go through their Graham Greene selection, because I'm trying to get all the Graham Greenes in vintage paperback for like a dedicated video. And I must have gone through about 20 there, and they were all ones I either already had, because I took up my wants list, or they were not the editions I was looking for. But since then, and we will see these today, I have bought a job lot of Graham Greene off eBay. It was only $11.99, so I think I did very well. It worked out about £1 a book. And of those, some of them are going to be doubles, but I don't mind that. But there was pretty much all the ones that I was missing. So, give or take a few American editions, which I haven't got. And there's a very rare version of the Forces Book Club for Brighton Rock, which is incredibly rare. I haven't got that one, although I have got a photo of it, so we can at least see it. I've pretty much got all Graham Greene now in vintage paperback, and he was published in predominantly Pan and Penguin books. So that will be a really good video that I'm looking forward to pulling together quite soon, so look out for that one. That had an awful, it's left a bit of a sticky residue there, so I'm going to put that one to one side, because that's going to need, when we get to the polishing stage, that's actually going to need a bit of a sort of special treatment. That this one hasn't got a sticker on the inside. In fact, this was the very last one they did, number 30, and ironically it had the same numbering as the Pan Book of Horror Stories. That went up to number 30 as well. But that's okay. I was really pleased to get this. This isn't the first edition, it's the second jacket for Starship Troopers. So what does it say in the printing history here? Yeah, first Foursquare edition, 1961. The new edition was 1967, which is, I think, the one that I've got. And this one is the reissue of that again in March 68. So this is ever so slightly different once again from the one that I actually own. But it's a really nice one, so I'm definitely going to be keeping it. It's a great book, this one. Absolute classic. The sticker's coming off okay. I suppose we've been quite lucky in that all the books have had fairly glossy covers, so they're not ripping. Like if it was a really vintage book with a sticker on. But thankfully, these guys are, you know, pros, and they know not to cover their books. They're really old books with stickers. Here's quite an earlier one now, New Runs FF number 7. And so we got them right back to number 1 to have a look at today. And when I've got the last few that I need, because I haven't got them all, I will do a dedicated video. Number 6. Now, this one actually looks like it's got 2 stickers on the back, so if I try and get the underneath of the one that's underneath the one that's on top, hopefully I can pull both of them off at the same time then. Yeah, that seems to be a plan that's working. Slowly but surely. There we are. Carefully does it. But that's not left any sort of residue, so that's good news. Here's another Heyman, one I haven't got, I don't think, in vintage paperback, Orphans of the Sky. That's its first time in paperback. It's a Mayflower Dell. I haven't got many of those. I've got a few, but not many. It's got a little 250 on the back. So I think something like this, in nice condition for £2.50. You can't really go wrong, can you? I mean, it's a deal, really. I've got to admit, since I've been out with Steve, I've been reading loads of SF. There's quite a few that he was recommending that I realised I'd never ever read, amazingly. Or if I had read them, it was long ago and I'd completely forgotten about them. The one I'm literally right in the middle of at the moment, and I'm absolutely loving it, is The Forever War by Joe Hildeman, in a science fiction masterworks series edition. It's really good. So I'm going to pick up a few more from that series, I think, because actually, if you're careful, you can get quite a few of those fairly cheaply, and you've got, in most cases, a real guarantee of quality. So yes, look out for a few more of those. But I have bought a few of them recently. They're not being today's video because they're only brand new books, but I will do a video on them at some point. Number 19 here. Really cool jackets on these. They really are. And Richard Booth's had a real run of them, which is why I picked them up when I saw them. And so they didn't have them all, and they weren't all pristine, so I left a few behind. It's got that little mark in the bottom of the back jacket. So I left a few behind, but I picked up all the mint ones that they had there, or, you know, nice condition. but it has still left me with a few short, but I don't think I'll have much trouble tracking them down. There's another one with a little mark on the inside. In fact, two marks on the inside. Back cover. Do this one down the bottom here. I've got another one up here. Someone's put new NWSF 18, so they put the title in the top right corner. For some reason, could they not read the cover? How dare they? There we go. Nice jacket. Number 13. Tail end of the 1960s, I think this one, or even 1970. Yeah, 1968. Did that one have a sticker inside? No. Okay. Number 12. This must have been the same collector because he's done the same thing. Put them on the inside jacket, inside back jacket. We'll let him off since he kept the books in nice nick, so yeah, we'll let him off. So as I film this today, I managed to squeeze in a week's holiday in Greece, and it was incredibly hot. I went to Rhodes, the island of Rhodes, which was really nice. First holiday abroad in 3 years because of COVID, and this one had been cancelled itself twice because of lockdowns. So we were very pleased to actually finally get away. And then while we were away, 2 days into it, my wife got COVID, so she didn't have a very nice holiday at all. Confined to the bedroom until she got better to fly back. So it's been not the greatest of holidays, but we made the best of it, the rest of us. And thankfully we didn't catch it ourselves, which was a miracle. But we have all been jabbed. So this was quite a nice one. I got this from Adamant, I think, and it was the Russian Intelligence, Michael Moorcock. Definitely haven't got this one. It's by Savoy Books, and they published quite a bit of edgy stuff, so I'm quite looking forward to giving this one a try. Haven't got much, but I don't think I've got anything else by Savoy Books, I don't think. So we'll have to do a bit of investigating on that one. Right, now, I think it's probably a good time to brush the jackets down on these, the top edges. So let's put them in some convenient piles here. That's a B format. These two can be done first of all. And I don't think they're going to be too bad. At least these are fairly modern books compared to some of the stuff we've got to look at today. But it's all part of the process, so I want to give them as good a clean up as possible. Lovely, coming up nice. do these in a couple of wedges. Just noticed on the front of that Starship Troopers is actually a 1 and 3. So we'll just put that to one side. It may be something I can rub off if it's in pencil. If it's in pen, it might be a bit trickier, but sometimes even if it's in pen, you can sort of tease it off because the cover is a glossy one. So it should be all right. Okay, let's just have a little look at this. It's just there. I'm not sure if it's in pen or pencil, so I get my soft rubber on it. See if that does anything to it. I don't think it was in pencil, I think it was in pen. But the rubber is slowly but surely fading it slightly, but not enough to get it off. So one little tip you can do, you can just put a tiny little bit of spit on that, and I mean tiny, and sometimes that can just be enough to lift it off. Well, I don't think we're going to get it off completely. It's still there, very, very faint. It was really, you can even feel where they wrote in the 1 and 3, but it's about as good as I'm going to get that one. Brilliant. That's the first little load done. Okay, so now we've got next little batch. This is a really nice Fontana, the Satan Bug. Ian Stewart, now known to be Alistair MacLean. It's got like a, I'm not sure if there's something on the front there, which is actually a little bit that's come out. It might be a silverfish. Yeah, look, because it's on that. It's gone right through the cover and the first couple of pages there. There we are. So it's actually been chewed a little bit, that one. But it's all right. It's only 175, and I like my vintage Fontanas. I've got a few hundred in my collection. This one's actually covering up another sticker, this one, which is a shame. So it wasn't quite the deal that I thought. It was only 175, so I can't complain. But it's actually covering up another sticker, another tear. Yeah, look at that. So I have a feeling that I had a sticker on before, but considering its age, I mean, this was mid-60s, is it? 1964. It's pretty nice, isn't it? I wonder what it's about. A stolen file is, a small file is stolen from Modern Research here. Biggest potential killer ever. That sounds a bit like Survivors, doesn't it? Or the Terry Nation series. I shall give that one a go, because that does look quite interesting. That was one that I think Steve found for me. So, oh, look at this, this looks cool. This is another one, we were talking about this on the way up, and it was the Joe Millard was the author of a few movie tie-ins, but he also did the books based around the Man with No Name, the Clint Eastwood character. And this is one that I'd never seen before. It's a film I've never seen before, but I thought I shall pick this one up. There is actually a documentary that's due out this year. It's called what is it called? Well, on Twitter there's an account called Tied In Films, and what they do, they each day he takes another movie time from his collection and posts it on there, and they're working with a film company to do a documentary on movie tie-ins. So I think that'll be really, really cool. Here's another nice Foursquare SF, Clifford Simek. Clifford D. Simek. It's got a little bit of water damage, this one, but he's okay. looks like that was a little bit of a stubborn sticker there, but then it came off all right. The cover designs on these is so important. Another one from 1964. Nice. This is a nice pan. It's a later one that I didn't have. Pan X715. Very near to the end of the run. I do like C.S. Forrester. He was the author of the Hornblower books, of course. So while we're here, I must thank my YouTube channel members and Patreon supporters. Some of my patrons have now been with me a very, very long time, you know, over a couple of years now since I was able to launch it, and I'm very, very grateful for the help that they're giving on the channel. It's much, much appreciated, so thank you everyone for the support. Alright, this one's got a couple of pencil marks to rub out. I was very pleased to get this one as well. This is another SF anthology, and it's in pan, but I've got 1, 2 and I think 4, but I didn't have this one, so I was pleased to get in. But I'm going to need to use these two as a little rest to get this 53 out. I wonder why people put it in this back cover like this, you know. Right down the bottom here. There we are. Cool stuff. Right, this is an early Panther, early-ish Panther, John Christopher. He also wrote the Tripods books, the Tripods Trilogy, which I very much enjoyed reading when I was a kid. So it's got not the greatest of condition copies, this one, but it's all right. And I don't often find old Panthers, to be honest. They don't exactly come my way that regularly. So nice to see it. Nice jacket on that as well. Sadly, I can't see a signature. Right, here's an old one. So this is a Muthen sixpenny, and I bagged this one so that we didn't have to, so that they couldn't stick anything to it, but the price has been written in pencil on the front, so I shall use this little bag to put all my old price stickers in from that we've taken off. Right, so yeah, Muthen sixpennies, you rarely see them. I pick up maybe 1 or 2 a year, and there's about 20 in the set. In fact, there we are, 20, yeah. I reckon I've got about 12 now, 12 of the 20, but they hardly ever turn up. They were one of those Penguin competitors, you know, they were brought out on the back of the success of the Penguins. I hardly ever see them, and they didn't last. And this was 1940. As soon as war came along, they didn't have much of a print allowance, a paper allowance, and they ended up, you know, just fizzling out. But this one is not in the greatest of shape. I'm going to need to re-glue that little bit down the bottom of the spine. What number is this one in the series? And number 17. So I guess the last few would be the hardest ones, because then the paper rationing was biting, and whereas the early ones are fairly robust, to be honest, condition wise. So there's nothing inside, it's all on the covers. So I'll try and rub that off, and then I'm going to try and put some glue in there, but because this cover is generally so dirty, when I rub here, it's gonna stand out a mile, to be honest, I reckon. So I'm going to try and do it, but blend it in slightly with the cover around it, so it doesn't look too out of place, because else you'll end up having to rub the entire cover, and I don't want to be doing that. Even though it would probably benefit from it. So you can see where I've rubbed it out, and you can see the sort of the smudging around. I could carry on rubbing and get a lot of this off, but I honestly I don't want to do that, because you'd end up having to do the entire cover. But it's you know, it's over 80 years worth of dust and dirt, so that doesn't look too bad. So you need the old Pritt stick now. I think what we're going to need to do is, looking at this under here, it's in a sorry old state, and there we are, that's what I was wanting to get at. There was a bit of, it wasn't flat, there was a bit of like old glue or something in there, so that, there we are, any little bits I'm just getting out there. So that should be okay now for me to smear some glue in there with a bit of luck. Clean me old screwdriver. So I just use my micro screwdriver here and slide it along like so. So it's a bit fiddly because I do want to keep these I don't want the glue going everywhere, but there we are, that's quite nice into the top bit. But I'm going to need another smear to do the bottom bit of this little tab, like so. There we are, and that should hopefully be enough to keep that flap in place without too much chance of it getting damaged any further. I mean, this one is almost black, and the earlier Muth and Sixpennies are like very much blue, so it looks as if the colouring got darker, or it's just dirty. But we'll be careful with that one, but it's still a rarity, which I'm very, very pleased to have. Now this next one was absolutely, it was the most I paid for any book while I was in Hay. I think it was £8. Yeah, £8 this one was, and it's from the 1930s, and it's part of the Hutchinson Pocket Library, and they did 2 Dennis Wheatleys. The other one was They Used Dark Forces, which I own. These would have originally come in a dust wrapper, and this one actually has the fragments of a dust wrapper intact. There's the back cover of it, and a little bit of the spine, which I mean, it's hardly worth keeping, to be honest, because it's so nice out of its dust wrapper. But I like to keep, I have got a little bag, and it's of books just like this, which have got, the dust wrappers are so tatty, the books are much better off without them being applied. So I will keep those bits of dust wrapper with it, and I'll put it in my dust wrapper box. But it's a rare early Dennis Wheatley, this one. I'm just having a look. I might benefit from a tiny bit of glue in there, but apart from that, just a case of rubbing out these pencil markings and the old £8 price. This was from the Cinema Bookshop, I believe. And I have seen these online occasionally, and it is rare. They turn up about maybe once a year, and they usually get priced at about £15 to £20. So I was very pleased to find that one. I don't think I'm going to bother with the spine, because it doesn't affect it one little bit. So, such power is dangerous. There we are, and I shall just slip the remnants of that dust wrapper back in there, like so. But yeah, all the Hutchinson books came with a wrapper, but that one's long gone into the history of time. Right, what was this? This is, oh, there we are, a little Hay Cinema Bookshop. There they are. I think this was one that Steve recommended to me again. He said a lot of classic like SF movies are based on this very book, Voyage of the Space Beagle. So I picked it up as one to put in my to-be-read pile. As I said, I'm on a bit of a sci-fi science fiction kick at the moment, reading quite a bit that I feel I should have read. And enjoying it very much, so it's cool stuff. There we are, that's going to just need a bit of a polish, that one. Oh, this was cool to get. This was a much improved copy of Dr. No, the movie tie-in edition. Much better than the one that I've got, which mine's got the prices. This one came out as a 2 and 6, and there's a 3 and 6 version. Mine, I can't remember which one it is, but it's got the price block inked out. So I was very pleased. This was a real good upgrade. And I don't think it was 2 years, like £2.50 or £3, I think it was. Yeah, like £2.50. This was also in, I believe, Adam, and they had a little pile of James Bond books. To be honest, they weren't in the greatest of shape, but they were only £2.50 each, which is, by today's standards, that's not bad, to be honest, you know. Particularly if you want them to read, because they are great novels in their own right. They really, really are, the Bond books. And Dr. No is another real classic, of course. And this was the tie-in to that very first Bond film. And in fact, this is the first of 2 books that we'll see today with the lovely Ursula Andress on the front. Because I did pick up another one. There she is there. What was she called? It was Honey Rider, wasn't it? Just a tiny little bit of pencil inside there. It's in the top right corner, but it's so fragile I don't want to over rub it. Now this was good. Now this is one I'm certain I've got again. It's part of the Panther Crime Band series. As I mentioned before, but I shall do it again just in case anyone doesn't know, I am after the any other entries in the Panther Crime Band series. Now, if anyone's got a list of what was actually made, that would be really, really useful. But I've got a handful of books like this, and I mean maybe 10 in this very short-lived series. And if anyone knows of any more, or has got a list, do please drop me a line, because I'd be very, very interested to see what actually came out around this time. It's really, really great design. I know there's the most common one is Ipcris file, I think it is. It's like the tie into the film. But these Robert Van Gulicks are quite scarce in their own right. And my copy of this one is okay, but it's nowhere near as nice as that. I mean, that's virtually got an unbroken spine. It's a really nice condition copy, that one. So pleased with that. Right. Now this one's in a bag. It's another Foursquare SF by Fred Hoyle. Let's debag that one. Really nice condition. It's caught a little bit of sun just in the spine area there, so it's caught some sun down there. Apart from that, the actual spine's okay. It's definitely one I haven't got, because I checked my Foursquare list while I was in the shop. Covered by Josh Kirby. And this is quite a nice little copy by the looks of it. Yeah, and inside very faintly had £7, and mine was £3.50, so I think I've done all right there. I don't mind paying £3.50 for a nice vintage book like that. Good stuff. Right, a penguin. I think I haven't had a penguin in a while. Now this is a reissue. It's a part of the Penguin Modern Classics. So Black Mischief was originally Penguin 179. So they retained the numbering, but reissued the book in the Modern Classics library. Now I am once again intending to pull all my Modern Classic editions together and produce a nice dedicated video. So do look out for that one fairly soon, because that will be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to pulling them all out. That'd be brilliant. They do look gorgeous when they're all together. That's for certain. Gently does it. There we are. Lovely. So yeah, the original printing on this one was 1938 for Penguin, and then this new edition as a Modern Classic was 1965. There we are. Now, another ancient one, a cherry tree book. This is only £2, and it's a cherry tree thriller, and they were sort of copying Penguin with colour-coded branding. The Dragnet, early one as well. Hardly ever see these early cherry trees around, and I've got a handful, slightly later ones, but these are rare. Detective Inspector McCarthy yarn. This is a yarn. So really, inside it's not too bad. It's all there. Obviously very, very dusty along the edges here. The cover is virtually detached, but it's been, taped in. So I'm going to have to leave it like that, but I'll be able to clean it with my my toothbrush. And just wondering about the bottom of the spine here, to be honest. I mean, that could be re-glued, of course. It's a bit frustrating because it's been glued in, because it's been taped in here by this tape. It's stopping me rejigging the cover. Now, I am tempted, when it was only £2, I might put my razor down there. That would at least free the cover up so that it would sit flat, because at the moment it's not been sellotaped in very well. So I think we'll give it a go. Right then, so I've got my scalpel, and I'm just going to cut that into right, and I was hoping that would be enough to free the cover, but they've also taped the back as well. No, that's proved to be a complete and utter disaster. There we are. What a hammered old piece this is, isn't it? Right, okay, there we are. Okay, so let's just get any excess off first of all. Put that up there for now. Right. So, and the reason it's gone like this is just because the glue it's just worn out, so it just dries up and falls to bits. Ugh. You can feel the sort of dust coming off onto your hands here. Ugh. Okay. Well, that does look better. Now, theoretically, we can reglue the cover back on now, and we can reglue it properly, i.e. in place. So that would be the trick. But what we'll need to do is get some glue all the way along there. Not this bit, of course, but just along the spine. Also in there as well. Squeeze it all together, and we should be looking a bit better than what it is now. But I think before we put the cover on, we'll just give this top edge the clean right now. Just because we don't want to give it any more agitation once we've re-glued it. And the thing is, because of this book, and there's probably not many of these left, you know, just in general, how many copies of this have survived? You have to ask yourself. That is why it's worth saving and giving it the treatment. So there we are, so that's nice and sticky. And then we'll put what we can onto the spine. It will take some of it, but the two surfaces together are going to help if they're both sticky. Like so. There's our chance to get it properly on. There we are. Now it's obviously going to take a little bit of time to set, but we'll get off this £2 price on the top here. There we are. So I think that looks better than what it was. Obviously it's very much a placeholder, but I think it's about as good as it's going to get. That. There we are. Okay, now I don't want to give that one any more brushing or anything, so I'll stick it on top of that pile there. I think it is probably worth giving these a brush off now, because these have all been rubbed off and what have you, because I'm still going to have to go back over these again and give them the old cleaning treatment. That Kingsley Amis really did lighten itself up, which I thought it probably would. was that Muth and Sixpenny there. So quite delicate. Underneath was the Dennis Wheatley, which is also rather delicate. So let's put them in a nice pile. So, and I'd say we're just about over halfway through, if you can believe it. So quite a long video this time round, but that's okay. It was only to be expected on the back of a big buying trip such as what we've just done. So another cherry tree, but this one I don't think is quite as bad, but until I actually get into it, I'm not going to know for sure. Got the writing on the front again. The Snatch Game, number 4, cherry tree number 4. Oh, I can feel it coming off. There we are. Yeah. So there, cover detached, similar to the last one, but the bottom of the spine is missing. But the rest of it's actually quite nice. It's all there, so we won't tease that anymore. Let's give this a bit of a, I don't know what that looks like. It's wow, I don't know what that is, to be honest. It looks like paint. Okay, well this should be a fairly straightforward fix. We might as well, while we're here, do the pencil on the front cover. As you can see, where I'm rubbing, it's leaving massive bits of white, as you can see. So the trick is to sort of try and blend that in. So I'm very lightly going to go over it just underneath the name there, just to blend that in a little bit, like so. Because else you could, as I said in the past, you just end up doing the entire cover, and I don't really want to be doing that on these. These are very much just filler copies, but super rare, you know, super rare. So they do warrant the treatment. There we are. Okay, get my glue out again. Okay, getting through the old Pritt stick, aren't we? Not actually a great deal of glue left, believe it or not, but hopefully enough just to do the spine here. We have got one or two other slightly dodgier books to look at today, ones which potentially might need a little bit of repair work, but we'll see how we get on. That should be all right. Should have done the top edge while we were there, but carefully do it now. There we are, so treat that one with care. Right, another one that was bagged up here. Man, Martians and Machines. Bit of tape in there. Nice corgi, didn't pick many of them up. 1957. A corgi SF, all had green spines. Foursquare, the Gay Galliard. This is one I've got, but I've actually got a really beaten up copy of it, so it was on my list of ones to upgrade. So I was very pleased to find another copy. Hardly ever come across these early Foursquares anymore. So I was pleased to grab it. When I first saw it, I thought, oh yes, please. Lovely. Got some more penguins. Here was the other one I bought from Addyman. This was $6.95, I think it was. So a bit more than I wanted to pay, really, but it's a rarity. There we are. It's not one I've got. It's not one I've even seen. So well worth getting, I think. Even though it was a little bit more than I wanted to spend. That's okay, that's cool. I've got a couple more of these, new writings in SF again. Carefully does it with the old sticker here. Okay, cool. Number 4 here, new writings number 4. This one's playing a little bit more hardball, and I think it may also be leaving a bit of a sticky residue on the back, like that one from earlier. So I'll be an extra slow with this one. Whew, there we are. Yeah, there's a little bit of sticky residue, so I'm going to put that one to one side. Just make sure there isn't any more. Because that's going to need to have some like glue put, not glue, some polish put on it to dissolve the glue, and then we'll have another crack at it. Oh, this looks like it's going to rip. That's annoying. And we were doing so well. Yeah, that's going to rip. It's ripping. Oh dear, I don't want to keep the sticker on. Let's try it from this angle. It looks like it is only going to be in a couple of spots, which is at least something, I suppose. There we are. So it's left a couple of little white marks, but still better than having that sticker on, in my opinion. Got a couple more of these. Another one which I'm slightly anxious about, but fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Oh, this is the same. It's taking off a little bit of the back cover, unfortunately, of the sticker. And that's a shame, because this must have been in Richard Booth for a long time. And that's why they're doing this, because nowadays the price stickers were on the inside cover, weren't they? Look at this, look, it's leaving a mark, many marks. And maybe they had feedback and said, look, you can't be doing this with your stickers, woman. Because it's, if you're a collector, you know, you don't want your back covers to be knackered, but sometimes it is just luck of the draw. And if you remember, a lot of these new SFs were at £3 a pop. This one at £2.50 and the last one at £2.50 means they've probably been stuck in on the shelf for quite a while, and consequently these have been on there for a lot longer than some of the other ones, and they've left their marks. So look at that. Not great, but still better than what it was. We've got one more to go, and it's the same thing. It's the very first one as well, so I'm hoping this one comes off okay. Let's just do the flick through. Yeah, I'll be a bit gutted if this sticker leaves a mark, but all I can think of is it is old stock and it's been sat on the shelf for a while, which is why it was an older sort of style price. The more recent ones have got that barcode because they probably got them listed online as well, and they came off, you know, a bit like a post-it note, didn't they? It was easy. So third time lucky. I'm going to go all the way around. Well, that one came off all right, so we were okay on that one. Phew! Lovely. This is when I got in Murder and Mayhem, The Saint on TV, and that one just got that little $4.99 inside, so we'll get that one out. That's a simple one. We are on the last sort of stretch of these now, thankfully. Today's video is sponsored by Foul Blood, the book and graphic novel from Kevin Given. Both of these are available from Amazon now, with links in the description down below.
Dead bodies are showing up behind the cross-dressing club. First impressions. Decapitated and drained of blood. Is there a vampire loose in Boston? David Reynolds, a serial killer that Detective Carl Vinson arrested years ago, has escaped. Is he behind the murders? The second victim was Paul Sweetheart Sachatella, a mobster with ties to club owner Leo Freezer Kowalski. Is Leo involved? Foul Blood is an intense thriller, a noir horror mashup that will leave you on the edge of your seat. In the tradition of Edgar Allan Poe, Dashiell Hammett, Stephen King, and Mickey Spillane comes an exciting tale of murder and revenge. Available on Amazon from author Kevin Given.
Right then. Now, this is a cherry tree crime. And once again, it is, you could say, fallen to bits. And you'd not be wrong. And it may not even be repairable. It certainly is dusty, isn't it? Look at the dust on it. But on the whole, in actual fact, I've seen worse. Yeah, it's very, very loose, so I'm not going to play around much more with that one. However, we're going to delicately give it a clean across the top here, where it's obviously picked up much dust and dirt. But yes, quite a rarity, but also quite hammered at the same time. Splattered with paint or something like that on the front, but nothing we can really do about that. And there's one more from that line, the Bond Street Murder. That one there, similar sort of condition. Quite loose. Not a lot we can do there for number 44, except give it that very, very delicate dust off along the top. Okay, we actually got a little hardback, just one to look at. This is a book about Churchill. So I do collect books about Churchill, and this is one I'd never come across before. I got a fair old selection. have a little look at the wrapper here. So it's part of the Great Lives series, by the look of it. That's what it would appear to be. Osbert Lancaster did that front cover. Quite a nice little one here. It's nice and bright, isn't it? Here we are. So it's got a book plate in there. Ex Libris of Beatrice Mills. Yeah, this was a £5, which I didn't think was bad at all. They had a whole dedicated Churchill section in the cinema bookshop, and it was fantastic. But there were some massive books, and I just didn't want to be picking up anything quite that big, to be honest. But they had some volumes of his speeches as well, which I was after. £1951. That's all right. It's quite nice, that one. Lovely. I think because that one's slightly not paperback size, we'll just give it its brush off now, though it's not too bad. Okay. Now here was the map of Hay. This is what you can pick up in the booksellers there, and it says it's got like 23 shops in actual fact, but they're not, as I said, they're not really all visible or accessible. But there we are. Certainly worth a visit though, that's for certain. So yeah, worth a visit for sure. Right, last little pile. So I think what we'll do, I'll give these a brush down, this wedge. Lovely. And don't forget, if you do like these cleaning and repairing videos, I have got my other channel which is dedicated to book cleaning and repair. So if you find these relaxing and enjoy watching the process of me cleaning my book collection, do go over and check that out. Here we are. I said we'd see Ursula Andress again, and here she is in She, the Hammer movie tie-in. Let's hope this one comes off, because this was like my second favourite purchase of the trip, was this one. It was only £2. I was delighted to get it, because I collect Hammer Horror movie tie-ins, and this was one I didn't have. I don't actively go out my way to try and get all the missing ones, but this was one I didn't own, and I was very, very pleased to get it. Yeah. What a cracker, eh? Great stuff. I got a few of those Graham Greens now I was telling you about earlier. burnt out case. Now they're not all first, but most of them are, I think. And some of them I have already got, but I don't mind because I'm going to keep them as reading copies. None of his books are particularly long. But they are indeed great reads, and I believe this collection that I picked up was pretty much like an original owner collection. He bought them all in the 60s, pretty much, which is when these rather delightful editions from Penguin got published. Oh, this one actually isn't a Penguin. This was another one I got from Richard Booth's The Furies. This is one that Steve recommended to me. He said it was a bit like, it was the most like John Wyndham without actually being a John Wyndham that he knows of, and it's certainly like End of the World and then giant wasps, if you can believe it. It is SF. I read this one while I was on holiday. It's not bad. I have a few reservations on it, shall we say it, so it's not one I'm going to recommend, but it was interesting to read. This was a later one, Penguin 21 Stories, but it was right. Yeah, published in 1970, that one is actually a reprint, so I wouldn't mind the first of that. But if I don't get a better one, that one will do. Whoa. Lost Childhood. Zooming through these, because these, as I said, all came from a job lot on eBay. It was $11.99, so I thought I shall have those. Thank you very much. This is one of the ones I needed. Quite American. This is the Penguin Modern Classics reissue of Brighton Rock. I've got the Penguin first, which came out during the war, which is itself very rare. It's a couple of £100 Penguin book. I've seen it sell for. The Forces Book Club one I haven't got, and that is supremely rare. I'd probably rank that at £500 for the Forces Book Club one, but that's really nice to have the Modern Classics edition of it. Power and the Glory. Some of these are just a little bit dusty, so they'll really benefit from a clean. Lovely. Ministry of Fear, one of the rare ones in hardback. Quite collectible, little Graham Greene. Heart of the Matter. Oh yeah, these are all firsts. Very, very nice. Paul Hogarth did the covers for all these. He did a lot for Penguin around this time. I think he was virtually on staff. And this then is a later edition of The Confidential Agent. When does this one date from? 81. So this is much, much later than I would ordinarily pick up. It's got a postcard inside. What is this postcard? Because you never know. They are Acadia National Park, at the summit of Cadillac Mountain, overlooking Frenchman Bay. Okay. Oh, Maine. So someone probably took that on holiday with them. That's not something I'm going to keep in that particular one. Up there. Oh, there was also a receipt. Ah, shame I can't read it. Got 135. That's how much the book was. So they bought it brand new. There we go. Brilliant. So that's all the books gone through. Let's give this last little batch of Graham Greene's a brush. These won't take long. Then what I'm going to do is sort them out into the ones that can be polished and ones which can't be polished. And we'll give the covers a little bit of a sparkle with the old Mr. Sheen, just to take off any vintage fingerprints, sticker residue, which we've got on a couple of them to do in a minute, and anything else untoward. And then we'll be pretty much there for this quite mega new acquisitions video. Brilliant. All right, let's sort that little lot out. Right then, so these were the two books which had a slightly sticky residue, particularly that one. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get my Mr. Sheen, and and I'm gonna put a dab on both of those and just dab it in, so hopefully that'll start eating into the glue while we look at a few others. So some of the other books have been the ones which I can't do are already over here, because there is no way I can give those any sort of polish, because they've not got the correct jackets. But these, however, are absolutely fine and should all benefit greatly from a little bit of a polish. Like that. Right. Look at the dirt that's come off just one book. Right. So now we'll do the rest of these. But hopefully that glue's just had a little bit of a chance to get the worst of the stickiness off, and it already has on that one, which is good news. Okay, there we are. You can see that glue just lifting right off there, which is why we've done it. Good stuff. I said most of them were okay, thankfully. I actually had a bit of glue on the front, so I should get that as well. Still a little bit there where the price sticker was, so I'm going to give it another targeted zap just to make sure we have got everything off, else that sticky will transfer onto another book and then we're in a world of grief. There we are. Hooray. Cool. So they were the tricky ones. The rest of them we should be fairly straightforward. Obviously, as we're going on, the cloth is getting a bit more impregnated with the polish, so it glides over the book jackets. I will try my best to keep these in shot while I'm cleaning them. But this part of it doesn't take too long, so we've done all the fiddly bits. But yeah, it's been quite a while since I've had this many second-hand books to put through the treatment, the cleaning process, you know, ones that are brand new to the collection to begin with. Obviously on my other channel I'm systematically going through all my collection, and they're looking all the better for it. That's for certain. Particularly the Pan and Penguins, which are some of my very oldest books, so I've never really had a chance to go through those properly. The biggest revelation was what I'd actually paid for some at the time. Just £1 or £2 here or there, and they're like really quite expensive books, some of those nowadays. But such is the passage of time. An increased collector demand, I guess. Right. Super cool, these. Super cool. So looking ahead at what we got coming up on the channel, quite a bit, as always. Nice little variety of stuff. There's been some really, I think, some really great videos published lately, but when I film this at the moment in the UK, we are right in the middle of a mega heat wave, which we're not really used to in the UK. So people aren't spending lots of time watching YouTube. People are on holiday, people are out in their gardens enjoying the sun. So generally speaking, YouTube is a little bit quieter than usual, but that is really just down to what's happening. But I'll keep pumping the content out for you. Certainly this week I'm going to be filming another Star Wars video, which I'm looking forward to. Obviously at the moment the Valve Steam Deck handheld is riding high, and I'm still working my way through demonstrating all the different emulators on that particular system. Lovely. These, as expected, are all coming up pretty nicely. Look at the dirt that's come off. Incredible, isn't it? But that's okay. Okay, I've just changed the camera angle. Okay, I've just changed the camera angle just a little bit to try and get a bit more of the action in picture. Gone on to a cleaner bit of cloth. Books with black covers like this are always more susceptible to showing up little creases and things like that. So if you see a second-hand book and it's got a black cover and it's in pretty nice condition, you know it's been looked after. Lovely. Obviously I don't want to go mental with the polish here, I just want to put enough on to do the trick. And the soft cloth that I use, it holds the polish in, so I don't want it sopping. It's really just enough to take off the top level of like fingerprints and dirt. And it is quite incredible how much does come off. And how I think how vastly improved the books are once they've sort of had this process put through them. I have to say these Fontana books are really well made, you know. They make an effort on the covers, the quality of the paper is nice. I know they're like part of Collins, so they've got a good history and heritage, but they are, I think, a really underappreciated paperback imprint, and the early ones in particular I think are really nice if you can find them in nice condition. Don't often find them, and that's a really nice one. That, and I said, although it had a few faults, it was only £1.50, so I can't really complain, can I? Another one of my favourite Graham Greene's, Our Man in Havana. Don't know if you've ever read it, but it's a good one to take on holiday with you. Lovely, nice little run there. A few more of these Graham Greens. Something on the back there, which I think I may have just got off. Not sure what it was, but I've got it. That had a bit of a smoky spine on it. By that I mean it was a bit nicotined. I think I've got most of it. There's a few little marks there still, so I'm going to put a bit of targeted polish on this spine here. See if I can get the last couple of bits out. In the light there I can just about see it. Awful. That's a shame because I think that was one of the ones I needed, but it had a really horrible spine thing on it. But I'll leave it at that. I don't want to make it any worse. Now I think we need to get a clean bit of cloth, so I shall just pause there. Okay, so the last little batch, starting with that lovely movie tie-in. Nice clean copy of that, really, when you think it was a white sort of jacket on it. It's one of the Furies that I read on holiday. That was alright. Definitely worth giving it a try if you do like John Wyndham end of the world style novels, which I love. And I'd be interested to know what you make of it if you do give it a go. Very easy to find, so give it a try. So yeah, I was talking about future vids coming up. So we've got a really cool Star Wars one. I've read and reviewed a few books whilst I've been on holiday, and we've got a few review videos coming up. We've got the next Men's Adventure Quarterly, number 5, which is on Eva Lynn and the Dirty Dozen style stories for Men's Adventure. So we've got those coming up. I've got a review of my friend Gary Levisi's Sherlock Holmes book and a couple of other books that were published by Stark House Press. I'm going to do all those 3 in a dedicated video, and I'll do the Men's Adventure Quarterly in its own video as well. Mentioned that I've got a dedicated Star Wars video coming up, and at the moment it looks as if we're going to be doing it on Bespin themed figures, so figures related to the world of Bespin. That's what we're looking at, which should be good fun. I've got a few more. My next few Steam Deck videos are all sort of penciled in, and then I have got, well, I can't really, it's only in negotiation stage at the moment, but there's a chance I might be appearing, maybe, on a new Channel 4 series, believe it or not, on sort of collectors and their collections. So I'll keep you posted on that, of course, once something's firmed up. At the moment we're in I'm in discussion stages with the company producing it, and yeah, you never know, it might be something I could might be something that would be really good for the channel, you know. So I shall keep you posted on that as and when, and if anything happens, because you know what these things are like, they can easily fall through. But it would be nice to think I could help out on that in some way. Not many to go now, so I think we'll start another pile over here. Great film, Brighton Rock, as well as being a great book. If you've never seen the old black and white classic with William Hartnell and Richard Attenborough, it's really good. Some of these need a little bit more polish than others, but on the whole I think I did really well. Had that hay trip, I really did. Definitely a place to visit, you know, to make a special trip for. A real beauty, that one. Come up an absolute peach. Yeah, very pleased to get this one. Nice little improvement over my existing copy. And it was the first version of Dr. No, because as I said, it got re-released again with a 3 and 6. So it's like the first version of it, which is cool to get. Try and find another clean bit of cloth now for these last 8 books or whatever it is. So yeah, so I hope you have enjoyed today's video. It's been a bit of an epic, been a bit of a long one. Very, very tricky to film in this heat, so hopefully it's not going to be too many errors, omissions, or me banging the camera and stuff. But it's very, very hot today, and it makes it quite difficult to film doing such a physical job as I'm doing here in this heat, he said. Yeah, I do hope you have enjoyed it. I've certainly enjoyed going through these books. It's been a while since I've gone through so many new acquisitions all in one hit. It really is. Obviously, if you have enjoyed this video today, do please give it that thumbs up, and also hit the subscribe button if you've not already. I try and do one of these pickup videos every month of what's come my way. Also, if you have enjoyed all this cleaning, I've got my dedicated channel where I do just one video a week over there, where I systematically work my way through my entire vintage paperback, and well, not just paperback, but entire book collection in actual fact. So that's had about 40 episodes now. It's not been running quite a year yet, but it's well on its way to around about 900 subscribers, something like that. Very niche, but also informative and hopefully quite relaxing to see the process. Once again, thanks to my sponsor for this video, Foul Blood. If you are interested in sort of a noir vampire crime tale, then it's certainly worth checking out. As I said, I have read the graphic novel of the book and it was really good. So really nice artwork as well. So I enjoyed it. But yes, I shall see you again very soon. With another video.